everybody. So just wanted to go over some stuff that I see here on the market. First off, we're going to start with CRWD, CrowdStrike. So the reason I've been watching this setup so much is because to me it just looks like a very accumulative setup. So from here you had your base that we eventually broke out of. So this is what was really saying, hey, this is a breakout, we have high volume here. You came up to the next supply zone, you obviously had to cool off there, but when it did cool off you did have very low volume here, and you're still in low volume, so this hasn't seen the pressure just yet. This last spike between volumes was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 days. Today was about the 4th day. So anytime soon, I think this could very well be very high pressure. So if you notice this base here on the left side, this is technically your left shoulder. So looking at this, here's your right shoulder. You came back off pulling these fibs. I'll just redo this so you can see it. So if we pull from the lows down here, looking at it as a fib stance, you notice we come right back, we hit right here on this fib line. So now you are pushing off of this, which is also your demand test. Once you see the volume kick in, 521, and depending on where you pull your fibs from, I mean, if you started pulling it from this leg now, it comes out to like right around 531. Yeah, 530.95. So I like between the 521 and the 530.95. It makes sense to get up here and then come back to retest as demand again around that 512. So I do expect a fast spike, come down, and it may not. It could shred through. Maybe you come up, hit the 530, come back to the 521. That's a possibility. But overall, this is just a great looking setup for upside. I'd like for it to see possibly tomorrow, like I said, going into Thursday by latest. I mean, you could see the trend we have going on here. It's a very powerful uptick. I mean, the longer this sets here and ranges out, the higher the actual pressure can be and go. So, but yeah, overall, good setup here. So Tesla. Yeah, my chart's a mess on Tesla. Okay, so just looking here, a lot of funny price action. Let me step it down to the. So I mean, you're in a little bit of a parallel here, and just slowly creeping up. But today, you noticed how we were talking about here when we wanted to add in this 435.22 level. So overall, we did get that bounce perfectly off of this top of this candle here. We're just making higher highs, lower lows. We're just slowly creeping up. Deliveries is coming. I mean, if this is some type of B inside of a 3, or it could be a 5, it just depends what cycle Tesla is actually in, then this would be the next size of this actual A. So whenever it takes off, oh, how coincidental is that? So if you do the measurement from here to here, that's how you would get the length of your next C, meaning if you do just say A, B, say C, right? Okay, so that would be some type of either 3rd or 5th. I mean, 3rd usually look like this, but yeah, it looks like a 3. I mean, this alone, definitely a 3, because this was a big 1 that we were watching for the longest time. So this was your 1, and now you're fixing to start your B section, or your C section of a 3, which should reach the 513. That's what I would like to see. I love these upward channels like this when you're actually after an impulse, because it's just showing there's so much more momentum. This is what a lot of stocks that really went on some major moves have done. Microsoft being one, UNH on the downside was one. Overall, these are very good patterns to watch. But yeah, I do believe 513 comes very quick on Tesla. Just waiting, but I believe it will get there. Okay, let's look at IWM. Had a guy in there today that was talking. It's funny because, yeah, we were talking about the right time, but overall, I think this is the right time. So look where you bounced right here. This was just technically a demand test. You show pressure, that base was actually above where it opened. Spring down in. Did it have volume? Oh yeah. Look at the volume. The volume kicked up. That's your high volume breakout. This was your high volume ag first break, low volume test. Then your trend is fixing to continue. Once you see this, then you know, hey, something's brewing here. This is an overall very, very bullish setup. I do expect this possibly tomorrow, 243.63, maybe even 245 in the week. Let's see the weekly. I mean, yeah, you could get up towards the 245, 246. That makes a lot of sense, and that actually give you a weekly breakout of this upper candle here. So it's looking good, looking good. Overall, that's that same channel as Tesla for the most part. So yeah, you could have another extension the same size as this leg. That makes sense. So your overall target could be like 260 pretty much. Now, what happens after 260 is anybody's guess. It just depends. We were waiting on this to test on IWM for quite some time. This 231. There was even a base down here. We never got that. That was the only thing that had me a little concerned on IWM. But as long as it's holding like the 237 level, I mean, it's overall very bullish. And with this volume being backed on that reversal today, I still like that very much so. I mean, the reason I don't think this actually got tested is because there was actually a right shoulder right here. It was just slanted. I mean, overall, this still looks very strong. NVDA. So this is what I wanted to show you all on NVDA. So back in, this is that one over here. So when NVIDIA actually started taking back off in 2024, right here, when I saw this actual C-leg extension, is when I caught this entirety of this move. Okay, so this was a 3-wave, correct? But it was almost inside of a bigger scale, because if you look at this one compared to how large this one is, this is almost two times bigger. So in reality, this could almost be some type of 1, 2, and then you're just seeing your 3. So typically with NVIDIA, it always measured out to the same size, just because it's such a high power stock. But right here, you see, you pull this, you can get like your top levels. If you do it again from where it bottom, it comes back up here again. Okay, then you have it again right here. You started going a little sideways right there. Looky here, did it again, and then boom, you started the B leg. So now you're fixing to get another actual extension of the C. And sorry if I'm too far zoomed out for you guys. Sorry. So I love how we closed at an all-time highs today. I mean, overall, I think NVIDIA is going to, I'll give you the exact, I mean, for starters, 227 is just the size of its extension, but typically you pull from the low, so that's going to put it about 212. So 212, consolidate, and it's kind of like this upward channel. Here's this upward channel like we were talking on Tesla. It's just real funky. I mean, it's just a parallel pretty much. So this would be a B, C, but this is actually the A of a B, and then your actual C, which is going to be the more impulsive one. So overall, the macro perspective of NVDA would be the actual extension of this leg right here, which puts it at the 254. So if you do like an actual fib, we can see where that comes out. 254 is my target. The 4618 is 255. So this overall makes a lot of sense. I would like to see it before the year end. That's just how I feel about NVIDIA. I believe this is a very, very high-powered stock right now. Today was the breakout. So overall, if you start pushing tomorrow, this could be a very good trader. So Bitcoin, let's do that last little one here. Bitcoin, okay, so the only thing that I had some concern on with Bitcoin was the 3-month, and if you notice how like it slowed down a little bit, like you had your break, which this chart is very messy. So if you had your box right here, right, I like how this came up here and you did continue, but this 3-month, it was just so delayed. This, in my eyes, should have gone to at least 144,000 off of this. Up in that range, just because how the magnitude of this candle. So one thing you do not, and I absolutely mean this, do not want to see is under 107,000 on Bitcoin, or it'll come back to the 93,000. Now, being that this is like already so overextended, if you lose the 93 and then start creeping back towards 81, then that would have some major concern. So key is holding 93,000 here. This is the only reason I've been so iffy with Bitcoin. But when you lead it into like the coin chart, it makes you think differently, because the daily on coin was, it was pretty much the gap candle, a little bit oversized, because typically they don't close to maybe $1 over, but it just could be more powerful. Now, if you look at coin, like it had this base here, so you closed over it that first day, and then today was just your validation. This would probably open around that 382, which would be on your fibs with that previous candle, right? So, sorry, 618, so pretty much right below it, and it actually showed some steam there. So now what I'm expecting is for coin tomorrow, if this is a valid gap candle, to open up around that 343. Now if it opens up around the 343, I fully do expect over the next day or two for coin to come right up here to this 3618, around $381. It's going to be a very fast move, in my opinion, because if you notice here, I don't know if your eyes can see it as well as mine, but this pattern that coin is in, it was looking distributive with this right here, but then it definitely has saved itself so far, so that's good. But if you notice the bird, I always talk about the bird. It's here's your left shoulder, right shoulder. It's just the inverse head and shoulders, all it is. But the more bird look like they have the power, more powerful they actually are. But I do like how, so coin does this thing of sideways consolidation after it has a massive spike. And let me just show you, for example. So over here, there was 5 stages in a diabolical curve. So this is how he actually called out the big move on Coinbase from $70. So it goes up, it goes down, sideways consolidation, goes up, sideways, or down, sideways consolidation, goes up, goes down, sideways, every single time. So this was the first curvature of the whole macro. Now, when you take an actual curvature, you can see exactly what I mean by that. So here was your curvature. You had your 5 stages, it started over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, blow off top. Okay, the stages are all mismatched because I haven't messed with this chart in a long time. But and then you had every curve pulls back to the stage 3 right here. Is that's what you did. You double bottom off of that stage 3. Now, what I was thinking is this is a macro distribution, but it's actually a reaccumulation range. What I was looking for was, oh, excuse me, guys, a large. So this one was what was so tricky about coin, because coin likes to work off these bases and retest them. So if you look at like this base right here, then yes, this was a very strong base. It was just the top of demand here. Now, I didn't know for sure because this actually looked like it needed a C wave correction, but still be bullish, but it would hit 259. Now, since it's actually holding this base up here and it's not distributing, then I believe that this is just a new set of this structure. So 2026 in my eyes could be very, very strong with Coinbase. I mean, I completely have changed my mind on the downside theory just because seeing today. I mean, that's the thing about these charts, guys. You can have one opinion, but if something changes, then you need to change your theory as well. That's just how charts work. It's literally a story, and you got to find that story and how to read it. But this next leg on Coinbase, I do believe we will see some major power. 535 makes a lot of sense. With how large this is and how on this type of magnitude in a macro, I mean, this could go very, very fast and in just a blink of an eye. I mean, overall, I think coin can get some major targets here. Now, if this was just to say, hey, maybe this is just a B of this ABC, maybe it starts here and it pulls this actual extension of this leg. Let's see what that comes out to. So I mean, that's around 600, which makes sense. Yeah, I'm not going to oppose to that. When you have this macro inverse head and shoulders here, you can see left shoulder squiggly, right? But this would just be a fourth, so this would maybe be your fifth leg. It makes sense. Now, if it does end up getting up here, yes, you could have some concern because how this setup is, but overall, it's still a very bullish setup. Key is just main thing is just holding that 307. I mean, as long as you're holding that, you're so good. But all right, guys, I just wanted to give you all some updates here. Overall, still very bullish. They did have that government shutdown, but I just don't see that necessarily having a big effect to this, to the market. I mean, I really need to see the morning open, but overall, these charts are very bullish, very, very bullish. I mean, you just gotta. But all right, guys, y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all in the morning.